वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् रक्तशुक्लप्रभामिश्रम् अतर्क्यम् त्रैपुरम् अहः विशुद्धिज्ञानदेहाय त्रिवेदी दिव्यचक्षुषे श्रेयः प्राप्तिनिमित्ताय नमः सोमार्धधारिणे नमो यामिनीनाथरेखालङ्कृत कुन्तलाम् भवानीं भवसन्तापनिर्वापण सुधानदीम्
रवि शशि युतकर्णा कुंकुमा पीतवर्णा मणिकणक विचित्रा लोलजिह्वा त्रिनेत्रा अभय वरदहस्ता साक्षसूत्र प्रहस्ता प्रणत सुर नरेशा सिद्ध कामेश्वरी सा. At the outset, it's a it's a blessing to start this session on the very first day of the Ambuvasi, which we call it as Ambubachi Mela of Bhagavati Kameshwari, who is Kamakhya. So the verse that you heard right now is the Dhyana Shloka of Devi Kamakhya. And it is through her grace, which flows in multiple forms upon all of us. She influences, she captures, she captivates everyone in a different way. And it is because of her grace that I
इसके
really
अंदर से
feel
वो
that I have
निकालो
been able to understand
एयरफोन निकालिए ना
the nuances of the Shakti Tattva. And I really consider this as an occasion to pay my namaskaras and also express that whatever and whoever I am today, it is because of the grace of my Shri Guru, Brahmashri Goda Venkateshwara Shastri, Shri Amritananda Nathindra. So the question that we are going to address during this 5 day session is to understand the Shakti Tattva and its various facets. And just to take the clue from Sri Suryanarayan Acharya, who was introducing the Bhuvaneshwari Foundation, that it is located in a rural area, and that in a rural area, which is something very close, and it can be considered as the ideal place where the Devi dwells. So let me pull the thread from there and take you all back to Shri Devi Mahatmya, which I consider as one-stop solution for any question. In the Devi Mahatmya, Rishi Sumedha's ashrama is located in the Dandakaranya region, and a king by name Suratha, along with a Samadhi, who is a Vaishya, wander into the forest. So Jagama Gahanam Vanam. So he reaches the forest. He leaves behind his kingdom and reaches forest. And after the initial set of pleasantries, exchanging the pleasantries, there are a set of 6 questions that the king Suratha asks Rishi Sumedha. The 6 questions are the key, and the answer to these 6 questions is the entire Devi Mahatmya itself. So, the 6 questions that we encounter So it says, the Mahatmya says, Raja Uvacha. So the Raja asks this question. He says, Bhagavan kahi sa Devi. O Rishi, let me know, kahi sa Devi. Who is this Shakti, or who is this Mahamaya that you are talking about? Mahamayeti yam bhavan braviti. So who is she? Ka. Katham utpanna. How did she manifest? Karma asyascha kim. What are her actions? Yat prabhava cha sa Devi. What is her nature? Yat swarupa. What is her form? Yad udbhava. What is the source of her origin? Tat sarvam shrotumichhami tvatto brahma vidam para. So 6 questions. The answer to these 6 questions is the entire Devi Mahatmya. It really opens up a lot of intricate relationships. So we can approach just like the Veda mantras, which can be approached from 3 levels. The Adi Bhautika, which is at the very physical level of understanding it as the forces of nature, the conflict between people, societies. No, this is the kind of interpretation of the translations that we normally come across of the Vedic mantra, influenced by certain worldview. Okay, let me be open, by the Western world. It is not the only way to look at any mantra. The mantra has the 3 layered significance, which Sri Aurobindo explains very beautifully in many of his texts. So there is one Adi Bhautika, there is one Adi Daivika, and there is one Adhyatmika interpretation. So at the physical level, at the emotional and at the intellectual level, and at the spiritual level. I am very translating these terms very, very loosely. So even Devi Mahatmya, which is a mantra, not merely a Puranic uh, episode, it is considered as a mantra. That is why it is used in the yajna. So as a mantra, it has the 3 layered explanation built within it. And when we go to the last, which is the Adhyatmika, we will know that the Devi Mahatmya is nothing but a kind of an quest for a sadhaka, wherein there are 3 stages in his spiritual journey. And in these 3 stages, there is an intervention by 3 aspects of the Supreme, whom the text calls as Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. And there are something called the characters which appear in the story, the various demons, the weapons. Say, for example, the description of how the Simha of Devi destroys the Asura. There are 8 types of destruction of the Asuras described by the Simha of the Devi. Each of this stands for a spiritual, or it has its correspondence at the spiritual level. Say, for example, a particular weapon of Devi stands for something, and it is used to loosen, or it is used to remedy a particular bondage of a sadhaka. So the entire text can be looked at as a kind of an inner conflict, where it is a spiritual journey which a person is undertaking, and how Devi intervenes. So many of the mantras which appear have to be understood at a much higher level of At the same time, a simple bhakti is the first and the starting stage. That is why all the acharyas and all the Siddha Purushas have advocated one thing, which is nothing but surrender to Devi. And within the text, it is built in the Panchamodhyaya, wherein you have Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha, built into so many mantras. So ultimately, surrender is the key by which one can uncover the greatness of Devi. So let's try to understand some important aspects today about what is the Shakti Tattva. In the subsequent sessions, we will be seeing about yoginis, about the Dashamahavidyas, about the Matrikas and other aspects. But today, let us focus on what is the Shakti Tattva. So, who is Shakti? Now, Shakti is sacred feminine, yes. But it is beyond what appears at a physical, at a metaphysical level. Shakti is nothing but pure consciousness itself. Para Samvit, as we call in the Tantra Agama. Para, she is the supreme, and she is Samvit. She is pure consciousness. Now, what is consciousness? Very difficult term to understand. Because normally the word conscious means when you are indulging and reacting in the world. Indulging in the world and reacting to the world. You are said to be conscious. If you are not, then you will have someone sprinkling water on your face, saying that he has fallen unconscious. Okay. So is conscious or understanding consciousness means interaction. Consciousness is that and way beyond at its purest form. So at its purest form, we can equate consciousness to being perfectly aware without having any dependency on either objects or instruments for knowing. For any act of knowledge, we will require an object to know. We will require certain instrument and certain, we can say, certain circumstances to be fulfilled. For example, if I have to see a book, first of all, the book should be there on the table for me to even see the book. Then my eyes should be working perfectly well to see. And there should be enough light in the room to help me to see the book. Then alone can I actually see the book. When I see the book, there is a cognition that that takes place, that this is the book. And there is, when we go one step beyond that, the awareness that I know that this is a book. There is a very subtle difference between the two. The knowledge that this is a book and being aware that I know the book. It is at the awareness level, we say that it is consciousness which is completely independent of objects and instruments of knowledge. I think this will be sufficient to close this discussion on what is samvit or consciousness. So Devi is that pure awareness which pervades the entire cosmos, or rather, it is in her that the entire cosmos appears. So there is not a single thing that is not object which is not pervaded by her. So understanding Shakti through the Veda mantras, through the Pauranika uh, legends, and through the Tantra Agamas, we see that the Shakti is seen as the manifestation of all the powers or all the dynamic and active forces that we look around. Say, for example, when we see Vak, speech, Vak is considered to be form of Shakti. That Vak is identified with Saraswati. That Saraswati is identified with waters, the river Saraswati, about which there are more than 700 plus shlokas or mantras in the Rig Veda. And Devi is also the Ushas, the dawn. Devi is also the Ratri, the night. So anything where you see dynamism is considered to be the form of Shakti. Not only that, a person who has identified himself, the sadhaka or the jnanis who have reached the identity with Devi, they have also expressed their experience in very similar terms. We shall try to see a few verses from the Devi Sukta in the Rig Veda, wherein the Rishika, which is Vagambrini, okay, Vag, who is the daughter of Ambrini, she narrates her experience after having this jnana or this oneness with Shakti Tattva. So this Rishika, okay, till that time she was a devotee and Devi was the deity worshipped by her. There was a sense of difference between a devotee and the deity who is being worshipped. But the moment the realization of Shakti Tattva takes place, which is once again her grace, we will come to that point towards the end of the talk. Once that realization of Shakti Tattva takes place, what happens to the entire understanding of this sadhaka, in this case, the Rishika Vak? She blurts out and she says, Aham Rudre Bhirvasubhishcharam Yahama Adityairuta Vishvade Vaihi Aham Mitra Varuno Bhabhi Barmyahamin Indragni Aham Ashvinobha. And the mantras continue. The opening of the mantra is Aham. And Aham in the Shakta Tantravada is considered to be the pure I consciousness, which encapsulates this entire world. How do you know? People who are familiar with the Samskrita Vyakarana, especially the Paniniya Vyakarana system, the very first thing that is taught to anyone who enters into the Paniniya Vyakarana scheme is the Maheshwara Sutra. Everyone has to memorize the Maheshwara Sutras because without that, it is impossible to decipher a single sutra. So, we know by heart the Maheshwara Sutra, I Unarulak, etc. Then there is something called Pratyahara. You form a set of the letters by indicating the first and the last letter, okay, of the Maheshwara Sutras. For example, if you want to denote all the vowels, we will form a Pratyahara by name Ach, because between A and Ch in this Maheshwara Sutra setup, all the vowels are encapsulated. A, I, U, N. So, N, so all that last letters, they are called as it and they are elided. Okay. So, A, I, U, R, L, A, O, I, O. All the vowels. So, the moment one says Ach, it means the vowel starting from A, okay, until Ch, not including Ch. So it encapsulates. So it's a kind of gives you a set. Okay. So this is called as a Pratyahara Nyaya. So the same thing is extended in other fields and we call it as Pratyahara Nyaya. As per this Pratyahara Nyaya, The word aham, the first letter is A, the last letter is Ha. All the vowels denote the Shiva Tattva, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga onwards, till Ha denotes the Shakti Tattva. So between Shiva Tattva and the Shakti Tattva, the entire world or the entire 34 Tattvas are encapsulated. Shiva being 35, or I just forget the numbers. Okay, Shiva being 1, Shakti being 2, the remaining 34 are within these two. A and Ha. A is Shiva Tattva, Ha is the Shakti Tattva. The entire world is in between the two. So by Pratyaharanyaya, Aham means that I principle or that I consciousness from which the entire cosmos is manifested, and the entire cosmos being pervaded by this I consciousness. So Rishika Vak opens the mantra with Aham. So this is not that lower ego. This Aham is not that lower I. Okay, this is that supreme I consciousness. And then she starts. Who am I? She says, Aham Rudrevihi Vasubhihi Charami Aham Adityaihi Uta Vishwadevaihi. You can go on explaining who these principles are. We all know these Vasu, Rudra, Aditya, okay, are Devata Vrindas or Devata Ganas. They are Gana Devatas. Okay, the group of deities. Rudras are 11 in number. Okay, Vasus are 8 in number. Adityas are 12 in number. Okay, and they personify one person. These three personify a person. Three aspects of one person. That is why even in the Shraddha Kala, our Pitru Vargas, Vasu, Rudra and Aditya. They are three Vargas of the Pitrus. Okay. So who is an Rudra? Let's go through the order which Rishika uses. Aham Rudrebihi. Who is the Rudra here? 11 denotes the 11 Indriyas, including Manas. The 5 Karmendriyas, the 5 Jnanendriyas, and Manas. Okay? Because there are certain traditions where Manas is also treated as an Indriya. Manashasthani Indriyani. Okay? So it can be treated depending on the context. So the 11 Rudras represent the 11 Indriyas. Okay? And all these are not my Kapola Kalpita. They are all mentioned by Sayanacharya in his Bhashya. So it is available. This interpretation is from Sayana Bhashya. And then comes the Vasu. Who is the Vasu? The Ashta Vasus are the Ashta Siddhis which everyone aspires in the world through their activities. So Vasu represents the aspirations of an individual. For this aspiration, he will be using his 11 Indriyas. Okay. What are these 8 aspirations? Anima, Laghima, Chaiva. Okay. Those Ashta Siddhis are the 8 aspirations here denoted by the Devata Gana called Vasu. Then comes Antahkarana Chatushtaya. There are 4 Antahkaranas. Okay. Which is Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. They are 4 inner organs. Manas is that which is undecided, which cannot decide whether I should do this or should I not. When you go to a shop, should I buy this watch or should I not buy this watch? So you are deliberating on the pros and the cons. That aspect you can treat it as the Manas. Buddhi is that which decides and tells, look, your purse has only so and so rupees. Therefore, you can only afford to buy so and so. Therefore, do this. So that Nirnayakatmika, okay, that which helps you decide, fixate, is Buddhi. Then there is something called Chitta, okay, and Ahankara. Ahankara is the lower identity of I, the doer. Okay. So these these four, when it shines through, our entire thing is dominated by the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Okay? Sattva, rajas, and tamas. So when these four function through the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, we get 12 types of volitions or activities, okay, in the world. So these 12 are the Dwadasha Adityas. So instruments for doing was the Rudras. Aspiration for the action is the Vasu. And how you are going to do, what determines the quality of the action is the Aditya. You can go on like this. All the Devatas, you can equate it within, okay, our own self. So she identifies herself with all the Devata Ganas like this. And finally, the last mantra, okay, she says, Paro diva para ena prithivyai tavati mahina sambhabhuva. That is how she ends. So, this, I am beyond the earth and heavens. This is my greatness. This is what Rishika says. I am diva para. I am beyond the div, beyond the heavens. Para ena prithivyai. I am beyond this earth. The two things that you can see, okay, I am here. So I am here was explained by all the previous mantras in the forms of all the Devata Vrindas. Yet I am transcending all. So in the Tantra Agama, we say that Devi or Parasamvid is Tattva Maya. She is the entire manifestation. At the same time, she is Tattva Atita. She is beyond the manifestation also. So, and Tavati Mahima Sambhabhuva. That is the last. This is my greatness. So this does not mean you have understood my greatness. It means my greatness is such, okay, that you cannot use your limited words, your limited mind to understand my greatness. So we cannot understand Devi by approaching her intellectually. Sri Nilakanta Dikshita in his Ananda Sagarastava very beautifully uh, establishes this in almost 22 shlokas. How you cannot reach Devi except through her grace. And what is the grace of Devi? This grace of Devi in the Tantra Agamas is called as Shakti Pada. It is called as Shakti Pada. All right. So let's try to understand what is Shakti Pada. Parashiva, who is non-different from Shakti, he has himself contracted or he has himself become this entire world. At the same time, at his transcendent level, he allows for all of us to reach our previous or our original state of being Shiva. So this is the Siddhanta. I am Shiva. I have forgotten myself that I am Shiva. Therefore, I am considering myself as Ramachandra Shekhar or someone else, limited in my power of action, limited in my power of knowledge, limited in so many other powers, bound by physical and natural laws. So this is my understanding. Now, the moksha as per the system here is to recognize or recognize Once again, knowing that I am Shiva. And this happens when the Rudra Shakti Anugraha falls upon the respective sadhaka. This is one of the 5 acts of Shiva called Anugraha, which is the Panchakrityas, which we will see. So, as a result of his Anugraha, the Shakti Pata takes place. What is Shakti Pata? Very simple to understand. Shakti Pata. Pata means falling. So that fall or the descent of the grace. The descent of the grace. Whose grace? Rudra Shakti Pata. The grace of Shri Rudra. The grace of Shri Rudra. What does it do? It helps in recognizing myself in my true form. And this happens in the form of Diksha in the Tantra and the Agama. So, one of the most important first stages which the Tantra and the Agama recommends is Diksha. And it is through the Diksha that this Rudra Shakti Anugraha or this Shakti Pata takes place, transforming the person's journey, spiritual journey, qualifying him for this recognition, this Pratyabhijna. Okay. Now, the very fact that it is only recognition, okay, it is a kind of a cognitive shift, shows that the original, that is the forgetting of my nature is also because of my own independence, or which we call as a Swatantriya Shakti. So Shiva, because of his own independence, wields or covers himself, lets himself to be misunderstood, and he himself reveals himself. So this is the Parama Advaita Vada, because there is no other second entity responsible for demonstrating how creation takes place and responsible for how the moksha needs to settle. So Acharya Abhinav Gupta calls this as Parama Advaita Vada. We call this as the Trika or the Kashmir Shaivism. Okay. So the Tantra Agamas are highly indebted uh, to the systematization in the Kashmir Shaivism tradition. So Shaktipata, okay, which happens during the Diksha, is the turning point in a sadhaka's life. It helps him recognize his true nature, and to uh, to help him channelize. The guru gives him mantra. Okay, he initiates him into various practices in the form of other types like kavacha and parayanas and the pujas and etc. All this is helping one reshape the journey, or to keep him uh, guided through the journey. So this awakening, okay, which triggers this descent of the Rudra's Anugraha Shakti. And how do we know that it is Rudra's Anugraha Shakti? Is Shakti herself, Shatarudriya or Sri Rudram, as we know. It very clearly says, Taya no mrida jivase, he mrida tvam taya no jivase. You are living because of her. So what, in the sense, what drives Shiva? It is the Shakti Tattva which is inherent in the Shiva Tattva. So let us come back to the concept that we were referring about as the five krityas or the Panchakrityas. Now, in the in this system, the Shaktavada, Shakti is seen as the supreme I consciousness or pure consciousness, is what we have seen. And therefore, she is both the cause of the bondage and also the one who helps it or helps one come out of this bondage. By knowing her in her true essence, one is freed from the bondage. By not knowing her, one considers himself to be bound. So Pratyabhijna Hridaya says that tat aparijnane swashaktibhir vyamohitita samsarit. So Shakti is the cause of the samsara, which is entanglement in the world. And at the same time, the grantor of the moksha. Because what happens is, it is our relationship with her, okay, which defines our experience. When she acts as an avarana, okay, avarani, as it says, as a wheeling power, then the truth becomes hidden from us. Okay, it binds us to limited identity. At the same time, when our relationship with her is such that she shines as the vivechani, okay, the power of discernment, she lifts this veil and reveals our true self. So Devi is all in all in the Shakti Tattva. So that is why in the in the Saptashati we have so many epithets to drive this particular point. Sarvakarinyai, one who is doer of all. Sarva Shakti Samanvita, one who is endowed with all the Shaktis. Vishwatmika, one who is manifest as the entire Vishwa. Jagadhatri, one who supports the entire universe. Okay. Nitya, at the same time, one who is not subject to any mutation. Sanatani, one who is eternal. All this, okay, shows that she is the substratum on which the entire thing, the entire manifestation is built. So, this one more distinction we have to understand, then I think the next sessions will become much more easier, is to understand that she is endowed with dynamism, endowed with activity. So, uh, in the Tantra Agama or in the Shaktavada concept, the Supreme is filled with dynamism. He is an actor, he is an agent. The Supreme Shiva acts, right? It's not Nishkriya. He is not merely a Sakshi, but he is Sakriya. So this is a Sakriya Brahmavada, where he is an agent. And what does he do? It says there are 5 activities which he does. These 5 activities collectively are called as Panchakritya. Kritya means activity. Panchakritya is the 5-fold activity of Shiva, which defines, okay, his agency. Srishti, creation. Sthiti, stasis or sustenance or continuity. Samhara, which is the dissolution. Okay. Tirodhana, which is hiding or concealment. And Anugraha, which is revelation, grace, liberation. So these are the 5 krityas performed by Shiva. Srishti Sthiti Samhara, Srishti Sthiti Kartaram, Vilaya Sthiti Karanam, Anugraha Karam Devam, Pranatarthi Vinashanam. This is from the Swachhanda Tantra. So all the 5 krityas are essential to define who Shiva is. I think these 5 terms are clear in our understanding when we want to understand who Shiva is. He creates the manifested universe. He sustains the manifested universe. Okay, how he does it? He can either do it directly or he can do it through his agents. Right? In the Lalita Sahasranama, we come across who Devi Lalita appoints to do these fivefold activities. She appoints Brahma to do the Srishti, she appoints Vishnu to do the Sthiti, she appoints Rudra to do the Samhara, then she appoints Ishvara to do the Tirodhana, and Sadashiva to do the Anugraha. So these fivefold actions, okay, are done directly or indirectly. So these fivefold actions are actually symbolized as the stool or the seat of Devi. Okay, as a so normally in the images when we see Devi Lalita Parameshwari, okay, or Tripura Sundari, we'll find that Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishvara will be the four footstools, while Sadashiva will be lying, okay, as a plank on which Devi will be seated. It's a symbol to say that Devi is performing the Panchakrityas. What is concealment? Concealment means hiding the true or the essential nature. Anugraha or the grace is revealing the true nature, therefore granting liberation. So these are the five. Now comes the very interesting thing. Now, if I am Shiva in my essential nature, then I should also be performing these five activities. Otherwise, how do I know that I am Shiva? You are saying that Shiva is concealing himself, he is hiding himself, and uh, we call him as the Jiva or an Anu or Pashu, as the term is. How do I know? If you say that the Shivatva is established by these fivefold activities, can you show that the Jiva is also performing the fivefold activity? This is where the Pratyabhijna Shastra or the Trika Shastra comes in and says, yes, we are also performing these fivefold activities, these Panchakrityas, constantly, not once or twice. We are always doing this. And the thing is that these are not linear actions. They happen overlapping or it happens, okay, uh, together also. So how do we understand that we are also doing this Panchakrityas? He says, through your cognitions, because that is how you are interacting with the world. We are interacting with the world through our cognition. What is cognition? Act of knowing is cognition. So from the time I wake up in the morning till I sleep, whether it is afternoon or in the night, I am constantly engaged in certain activities which is producing specks of knowledge. Now, some I remember, some I don't remember because I don't really give or attach much importance to it. So, if someone were to ask from the morning till, let's say, a particular point of time, tell me how many cognitions you had, we may probably recall a few, but not all. But we cannot deny that the cognitions are happening every moment. This cognition is explained as the limited way in which a person performs the Panchakrityas. So, how does it happen? Very quickly, okay. He says, look, when a thought arises, okay, or a mood lingers, okay, this Panchakrityas is at play because you are constantly creating it, sustaining it, and dissolving it. When I am seeing, okay, a particular, let's say, a particular, an awareness about something happens. Say, for example, I'm looking at a pot, I'm looking at a book. The book manifests itself in a form, in a place, in a time. right? So I see the book having red color cover, okay, on the table at 7:55. This manifestation is called as Srishti. Then for some time, okay, this awareness is sustained. Okay, it could be for microseconds, it could be for few seconds, whatever it is. So this awareness is sustained for some time. This is called as sthiti. Then then the next awareness takes place. The previous awareness, okay, gives way to it. Next to the book, if you are having something else. Now, that new Srishti takes place. Therefore, the older Sthiti gives way. So, this is called as the Samhara. When the object appears as different from myself, I am experiencing the object in front of me. I am not seeing the object as me because I am the seer and the object is the seen. So this distinction is what is called as the concealment, because what it is doing is it is hiding that pure consciousness is one which appears both as the seer as well as the seen. Since that is hidden and objects appear to be different from myself, it is concealing my unity and it is projecting diversity. So this is called as the concealment or the tirodhana. And anugraha, okay, is nothing but the one cognition leading to other cognition, leading to the third cognition. But in all, that consciousness is the, or that I is the constant entity. For example, I saw the book, I saw the table, I saw the pot. The commonality between all the three is that I. That is why I am able to recall the three, because there is something common. That I-ness is common in all the three. So this we call as the anugraha in a daily cognition. So every act of seeing, thinking, feeling is a micro form of this cosmic Panchakriya. So we are not just an observer. According to the Shakta Tantras, we are the portal through which the consciousness flows into the form. And once we begin to see this way, then our relationship with the world completely transforms. This is what is the cognitive shift. So the so-called external world no longer appears to be thrust on us, influencing us. But the Shakti Tantra says that the sadhaka will act as if the world is co-created, wherein you are participating, where it is created for your own attention. So that is why in the Tantra Agamas, liberation or moksha is not about escape. Liberation is about recognizing yourself as a soul and a dynamic agent. Okay. And the question is not what is real, but question is how am I shaping the reality now? What am I revealing? What am I concealing? What am I sustaining? What am I dissolving in thought, vision, feeling? This is the Panchakrityas. And Devi is that Chit Shakti, that pure awareness, the fire of consciousness. So when we ask who is Shakti, it's not some kind of a question on theology. Okay, Devi means this. Okay, she's conceived as someone having so many powers. Okay, this Purana says that kind of things. That is not the question from for a sadhaka or for a upasaka. So when we ask who is Shakti, we are asking who is present when I choose freedom over habit. Who is present when I am choosing courage over numbness? Who is present when I am choosing clarity over confusion? So, someone who gives this choice to make freedom, choice, okay, to choose courage, choice to choose clarity is Shakti. So for us, the Shaktas or the devotees of Mahamaya, living with Shakti means living in wholeness. Living with Shakti is living with my own source. So she's not somewhere distant. She's immediate. She's right here. So not something to be felt, okay, only in exclusive places. She appears in various things. As a walk, she manifests in the man and a woman. Okay, as a walk, when we speak truth, she is the Raudri Devi. Okay, when we are able to burn down illusions, when we are able to burn down what is negative through the rage, she is the beauty which we see around us, which we enjoy around us. So she becomes the Sundari. So, like this, she is experienced in every aspect of life. So, for us, the Upasaka, she is not considered in abstraction. In the next four series, we'll try to see the way that the Matrikas, the Yoginis, the Mahavidyas are conceived. We see that it is driven by the vision of seeing Shakti everywhere and as a part of the experience in me and in the world that I am interacting. So she's present in the diseases, in the pestilences, she's present in the stones, okay, which is worshipped as a Grama Devatas. She's there in the cooking fires, she's there in the spirit of the land, she's there in the no, in the waters and the winds, okay, which are wild everywhere. So Shakti is everywhere. I am I'm recalling one very beautiful line with which I will close today's session. Dr. R. Nagaswamy was a very great and eminent archaeologist and a historian who did an extensive work on Bhairavas and the Shakti and the Tantric cults in the South India. He once remarked that to live with Devi is to live with courage, it is to live with truth, it is to live with tenderness because she is there in the fires. She is there in a child's giggle. She is there in a poet's line and in the mother's hands. So that is Shakti for us. So with this, we close today's session. Dhanyavad.